Namaskar. Come back to another live with Aditya Soma. Oops, looks like my video is gone here because I'm back from vacation. So now everything stopped working properly. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Let me just set up my camera here a little bit. Okay, not sure about my camera here, but let me just do without camera. So today, probably you're in treat. You don't have to see my face, only our special guest face. So, guys, welcome back again. I know it's been a while. It's been a week. I haven't seen you guys, um, and so I thought because I skipped 1 week, I'm gonna bring a powerful, the guest who can give some solid advice on multifamily investing, building the business, expanding the business. So that's why I got the Godfather here, who is the Godfather of the businesses, including real estate investing.
Yes, sir.
Alfonso, brother, welcome.
Hey,
Thank you so much
can,
for your time.
can you hear me?
Yes, it's perfect. Your video is clear. It's just my video. I don't want to even worry about it for now because
Okay. Well, you know
you're
what?
always good.
I can hear you, and hopefully you guys can hear me right now. We're just getting ready. We have an event here in Toronto, so as people are walking in, I may occasionally wave at someone or whatnot, or tell them I'll be back
Yeah.
later. But it's really good to be here with you, my friend. I've heard great things. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's same thing. I heard great things about you. So, doing fantastic. I was on vacation for Mexico last week. I just came back last
Oh,
night.
nice. Where'd you go? Cancun?
Cancun, of course. Yeah.
I love the sand there. It's nice. Yeah, it's
Oh
a
my
great
God. That's
place. Yeah.
it's a beautiful city. Complete getaway.
And did they lose your luggage? Yes or no?
No, no, I haven't lost anything. Thank God.
So you did the carry on, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we learned our lesson.
I know. I know. I heard those stories, but thank God nothing happened to my luggage or me. I'm back with
Perfect.
all the stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Before you went live, I could see the camera, and you were looking like you were glowing. I didn't know you had gone to Cancun, but you looked like you were glowing.
That's exactly what my wife said. As soon as I'm back, you look more energetic, more life.
Yeah.
This country, Mexico got some life in there.
Yeah.
Every person there, like super enthusiastic, energetic, and enjoying the life.
Well, it's Latino people, my friend. You know, Latino people.
Yeah,
It's about energy, right?
yeah,
You know, if you dance, if you when you're dancing, you can't be upset.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
You know, you just can't. You can't be upset if you're dancing.
Yeah, so true, so true. So, I don't want to bore the guys about all the people who are on live about the Cancun trip. Maybe I'll do another
Hey,
live about.
you never know. You never know. Oh, there you are.
Oh, there you go. My video came up, so
We did it. We
I'm
did it,
glad.
my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, so I read your story. I watched some of your videos about multifamilies and talking about expanding the businesses. How to systemize them and all. But before I get into my questions that I want to learn from you, what's your story? Who are you? What's going on in your
Okay.
world?
I will give you the synopsis. Okay. I was born in El Salvador, war
Mhm.
torn El Salvador. I was in two wars before the age of 9, actually, in El Salvador and Nicaragua,
Wow.
which was communist Nicaragua at the time. Came here as a refugee when I was 9 years old. Because I was because of war, the, I didn't go to school like most kids, and of course, I had issues integrating into the education system here in Canada. Ultimately, I was frustrated, and I dropped out of high school at 15. I also left home, and now I find myself 15 years old, high school dropout, and homeless. I suffered a lot of dark moments, and we've all had our dark moments, right? Like you could probably think of a dark moment in your life right now, right?
Yep.
I had a life changing moment, and that moment came to me when I was 17. I became a father to a beautiful little girl. Her name is Talia. And of course, we're not promoting for people to have kids to change their life, but that's what happened to me. She's like my guardian angel. And I really, reflected on my life. I went back to school. I got a job. That job didn't work out. I started a business from my locker in high school selling T-shirts and jeans.
Oh,
By the time
wow.
I graduated at 19, I opened my very first physical location. By the time I was 21, I had locations all across Canada, and I became this entrepreneur in making a lot of money, very successful. The problem there, my friend, is I had no financial education. I had no financial literacy, and I misspent. And of course, 21 years old, you give someone
Yeah.
21 years old a lot of money, they're gonna spend. And so what happened to me was I almost lost everything.
Wow.
Uh, by the time I was 24, I had to really pivot and change my life to go from a consumer mindset to the investor mindset. And I started reading and educating myself on real estate and financial literacy and how to invest. And so, you know, at 23 years ago, I jumped into real estate, very specifically multifamily, because it made a lot of sense to me. Mostly because
Yep.
the economy of scale, and I could see that the power of you know leverage, and the power of having multiple customers under one roof, the power of spreading the risk amongst multiple units, to me was incredible. And
Yep.
I started right away in multifamily, right? And I've been doing it for 23 years. I built a
Wow.
portfolio across multi-million dollar portfolio across Canada and the US. 15 years ago, I was financially free. And what I decided to do with my life is I decided to dedicate the rest of my life to teaching other people how to reach financial freedom through real estate. And that's where I am now.
Wow, that's inspiring. So, there are a lot of things I want to, just to detach and ask more questions in there. But that's very, very inspiring story there. And it's super interesting to see someone actually living the financial freedom life from last like 15 years. Um, because, I know exactly what you're talking. I can feel it. Only difference is I started just recently. So having a baby girl at your 17, that's like insane. Like when you're 17, I'm having my baby girl in this October, the first one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
October what? October what?
October 29th.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say, if it was anywhere near October 13th, she was gonna be a Libra, and I'm also a Libra.
Got it.
It's October 13th.
There, you don't know. Sometimes babies come early, or sometimes they take more time. That
That's good.
something is not in our hands. So, um, let me jump before I jump on the questions here. Guys, anyone watching this, make sure to take time to ask your questions that you have, because here you have two people who achieved financial freedom, and someone who achieved 15 years ago. You won't find this kind of people time to get your questions answered. So take this opportunity and ask your questions in the comments below, so that you don't have to speak yourself and get stuck, because the questions that you've been having, one question, if it get answered in a right way, you might be reaching your financial freedom. So with that, going back to my question, so you said you started with your multifamily first, right? Like, can you run us a little bit how what was the deal, back then? What was the numbers look like? What made you to go for that deal?
Well, I had I'd gone through a period of time when I was 21 when my business was doing really well, where I was just spending. I was very much a consumer.
Mm.
At 20, so I found myself with a lot of money at 21, and at 24, I was in debt.
Wow.
And I decided to change my life, and after reading a lot of books and realizing that I was very much a consumer, basically what I did is I sold everything, and nothing had any value. The only thing that I did do right was that at 21 years old, I bought my first property,
Mm.
and it was a single family house
Hmm.
that it was in a market where it wasn't paying me anything, but it was gaining value. And so basically, what I did was I sold that property. I bought a duplex that I converted into a triplex.
Wow. Back then.
And yes, and then I moved into one of the units. Um, I was able to refi the money back out within that first month, and then I repeated that in every deal that I was doing. It was going bigger and bigger and bigger. But that first year, I bought ten properties.
Wow. That's incredible. That sounds very crazy because now we have all this information. Back then, you don't have this much information.
Yes, sir. There
So
was nothing. There was. I remember carrying a book.
yeah,
I had I had read a book and I had highlighted. Someone would talk about a VTB, and I remember I carried this book because every time I would talk about a VTB, they're like, "Oh, well, that can't be done here or whatnot," and so I would end up just carrying this book, and I would say, "Yes, it can. Look, it says so in this book."
wow, that's crazy. That's very inspiring. And also, like you talked about, like you were running successful business and you're making good money, but you spent in the wrong places. So can you elaborate a little bit on, like what kind of things you were spending on, like why, what was the reason, like, and how were you able to get out?
Yeah, so I mean, being 21, if you can only imagine, I don't think I could go through all the things on this live, but I'll leave it
Okay,
up to the,
at
the
least some of the
audience's
important ones.
imagination. But basically, cars, jewelry, you know, vacations to Cancun, uh, stuff, pretty much dumb stuff. That was my life. I had no concept of what being wealthy is. I had no concept of wealth. I had no concept of capital preservation. I had no concept of savings. I had no concept of reserves. What happened was I figured out how to create a business that was producing a lot of capital, very much like someone winning the lottery, or maybe someone has a talent and they're a singer, or maybe someone is a professional athlete. You know, every once in a while, people can figure out how to make money, but unless they know how to become wealthy and preserve that money, they're going to lose it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately is up here, right? We see this all the time. People winning the lottery, and within like 2 or 3 years, they're back to where they started. And
Yeah.
so, for me, when I turned 30 years old, I realized that once I did reach that financial freedom, I made that decision that I wanted to bring as many people as possible to that place of financial freedom. And so that's when I started, teaching, speaking professionally, training, educating, coaching, and mentoring, because I had this need. I wanted to show everyone how to get to that place. And because people have gone through my workshops and trainings all of these years, I was on a podcast just like this, and someone said, "Hey, you know, you've been doing this a long time. Everyone talks about you. You're like the Godfather of real estate." And that's kind of where the name came from. But it came from me having that desire to help people reach the financial freedom.
So, that's a powerful lesson. I feel like a lot of people have to take it in. Like, if you're making money, instead of going buying luxury things or spending on things that not needed, first start investing and achieve the financial freedom through this passive income, and then
Yes, buy the stuff.
yeah, exactly. Buy the stuff based on that, like spend based on the passive income, not the
Yeah,
business income you're making. That's
yeah,
a great life lesson, and I'm
yes,
I'm glad to see that it was happened to you early in your career, because if it is like
yes.
in 40s, 50s, getting back becomes even more challenging.
Oh, for sure. And we're playing with big money now. Like, I'm doing a $68 million deal, $100 million deal. I'm glad, I crashed and burned a bit at a very with little money. At that time, it like millions was like wow, like $1 million was like
Yeah.
a lot of money. But now my concept of money, I have a really true understanding of what is money and how it works, the history of money, and I've spent a lot of time analyzing my own relationship with money, right? And I think everyone watching this, they really should take the time to analyze what that relationship looks like what is your relationship with money, because I did not, the reason why money just left, because I did not have a positive relationship with money. My mom always told me that, growing up as a kid, like people with money are not good. They, back home, because it's a developing country, and people with money usually are corrupt.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so what happens is the mindset, we come to Canada with that mindset. They teach that to their kids, and then you grow up with an unhealthy relationship with money.
Yep. No, that's so important, that fixing that thought process, like, having more money is actually not evil. It's actually good, because now you were able to help like hundreds of, your students, because you have that time, you build that business. That's crazy. Like, when you look back, like, okay, if you would not have that freedom, if you didn't had that money, would you be able to do the same service?
No, no, I would have. Everything would have been. I would have still been trying to survive, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Now I dedicate my time and my life. I've dedicated that to helping and supporting people, uh, helping people expand and grow to the next level in real estate and multifamily. And like I honestly think that real estate is the best asset class
yeah.
when it comes to building wealth. I really true believe in that. And if there has to be someone that's going to teach you how to get there, it should be someone that has gone there for themselves, not
And
someone
doing
that
it.
watched a few YouTube videos and then they're just regurgitating what they learned. If anybody's taking advice right now, you should get advice from the people that have the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, who are doing it on day-to-day
Yes,
basis. Like you
yes.
mentioned, like you're doing 60 million
Eight
dollar
million.
investments. So like that means what shit you're doing. Like you know what you're talking about. It's not a small deal. Like to put that deal together. Like, first of all, you need to know how to find the multifamily. You need to know how to raise the money. You need to know how to manage it. All these things. Like, if you're doing it, that means you can easily share.
Mhm.
So here
Yes,
we
sir.
got some questions. Before I continue with my questions,
Yes.
Hamza, University of Calgary is offering bachelor degree in real estate. Doing bachelor degree in real estate worth it? Second opinion in bachelor in marketing.
Well, like I see that there's a lot of programs out there in real estate. I think all education is good ultimately, right? There's nothing wrong with educating yourself. The most important thing that you need to realize is what are they teaching? There's real estate that you're learning in order to become an agent. Well, there's nothing wrong with being an agent, but that's another job, right? And if that's what you want and you want to pursue that type of career, there's nothing wrong with that. What I do is very, very unique in terms of I'm an investor, right?
Hmm.
And there's no clear path, and it's hard to teach in a school. And so, in my programs, what we do is we bring the content, and that content is important. I mean, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have 900 plus videos just on real estate content alone. But that content alone is not going to do anything, because you got to go out there and do. And that
Yep.
brings the context. And you see, the content and the context together is the secret sauce. You got to get the
Yep.
content, you got to get educated, you got to get mentorship, you got to get coaching, but you also need to go out there and do. You got to go out there and put offers, walk properties. Together, that's the secret sauce. Listen, no one will ever remember you for something you almost did.
Yeah. Love that.
So it's all about
Yeah,
doing,
that
learning, doing, getting proper coaching and mentorship. That's how I got here. When I first started, I reached out and I found mentors. I found them from the newspaper because we didn't have social media.
yeah.
And so now everything is so easy, right?
Yeah.
In terms of technology. I mean, look at us. We're sitting here. I'm able to do this interview with you, and I'm getting ready to do an event. Like the second I'm done with you, I'm going to go and do this event here in the GTA, and it's all because of technology.
Yeah.
Technology makes us move faster, so we need to utilize that technology to build our businesses, build our companies.
Yeah, I love that. Like, just adding on to that, right? Like, personally, I didn't go to any bachelor school or like for real estate, because there is a lot of knowledge out there available for, some great resources like your content, or, there are many other platforms that they are like, pouring education like crazy. You just need to take that in and start
Yes,
acting towards it. That's exactly what I did. I didn't go to any school, just like you found someone. Like, I found my mentor with my first realtor. My first
nice,
realtor, like, she was my mentor because she owned like 10 12 properties by the time when I got to her. So that's
excellent.
finding that mentor is so important. Like, if once you find someone who can help you with the knowledge and continue to take actions on what you learn, that's a
Yeah,
powerful statement. Love it.
yes.
I, going back to, here some more questions, and then I want to continue with my questions here. Sajid is asking, less income, how could you buy a house and get into a housing market?
So the question, can you
So he
repeat the
has less
question?
income. So he wants to get into, get his first property or second property, but he has less income. That's the
Okay,
challenge.
he doesn't, his income doesn't meet he doesn't qualify with his income.
I'm
Many
assuming
things,
that's what he means,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah. So many things he could do. One, he could tap into someone else's qualifying power. So we talk a lot about OPM, other people's money, but you can also tap into OPC, someone else's, some other people's credit, right? Together do a joint venture, help you qualify for a bigger deal. Two, he could just go to a bigger deal. He could just simply level up to commercial when it's not solely up on the individual. It's all about the asset. The asset qualifies for the loan, not the individual.
Yeah.
And then lastly, um, he wants to. The idea is to house hack. Is that what he wants to do?
He wants to get into the housing
Yeah,
market. Like right now,
yeah.
I'm assuming he doesn't have a house yet, so he just want to
Okay,
get into the market.
yeah. So what I would say is the very first step for this person is to get educated,
Yep.
get the knowledge, get the mentorship, get the coaching, so he knows exactly how to tap into other people's money, other people's credit, and other people's time.
Yeah, love that. That's the only way. Like, if you don't have education, you don't know what is a good deal. If you
Yeah,
don't know what is a good deal, you cannot pitch it to the investors, or, like you mentioned, the
exactly,
OPC, the
exactly.
credit, the person who has credit to
Yeah,
give you, they have to have a reason. They have to
yeah.
know you that you have confidence on this deal. So, yeah.
And some
Um,
people and some people say, I want to get into the market, but like not all real estate is good. Not all of it. You can't
so
not every single piece of real estate. If you buy incorrectly, you can make a lot of mistakes that are going to be extremely costly, right? And so, of course, buying the right real estate that puts you in a position where you can start generating wealth, and it provides income for the rest of your life and your family's life and your kids of kids of kids of kids. This is a very different strategy than just buying a house.
Yeah. So, a follow-up question on for Sajid's questions. If I'm a first-time buyer, like, would you recommend buying a multifamily right away, or a single-family home, do a house hacking?
My personal opinion, and again, this is my own personal
Yeah.
opinion, I would, obviously, if you can reduce your expenses, that is always a plus. But sometimes I see people doing house hacking, but their expenses are more than what they would have just gone out there and rent, right? And
Hmm.
so you want to make sure you're making the right decision in the right market at the right time in the right place, so you don't get yourself into trouble just trying to house hack. Now, I believe that we all should have a comfortable lifestyle. Why not put all of your efforts into a multifamily building in investments, rent for now, right? And then once you build up your portfolio, that portfolio is going to give you the money to live wherever you want.
Yeah, I love that strategy. So that means you're not a big fan of buying a house at all, like for primary personal use.
I think there's a right time to do it,
Yeah, when you
right?
have
Like,
like enough
yeah, like
cash flow
people love
coming
that.
in.
People love the house hacking. I was doing this workshop one time, and someone said, Alfonso, I love this what you say about the house. It's not an asset; it's a liability. But my house is an asset. I'm like, really? How come? Well, I have the house, and I rent all the rooms to my friends, and I sleep on the couch. And I said, okay, that's pretty good until you realize you're coming home to a bunch of dudes. You know what I mean? Like you also need a you also need a good quality of life. And sometimes, depending on the market, it makes more sense to rent sometimes than to buy a house. But at the end of the day, all your money should be put into good income producing real estate.
I love that. Good income producing real estate. But also, like, the challenge here, like for a lot of first time home buyers, right? Like, where you started with a good business that bringing you income so that you can pour 20% down into the property. But what if I only have like 5% down? I don't
Yeah,
even have.
so basically you got to find someone with the money. Plain and simple, right? Whatever whatever you're missing, whatever you're lacking, look for someone that complements that the whatever it is that you're lacking. Like at the end of the day, the first step, if you want to buy a house and just have one house for the rest of your life, this is probably not going to be the episode for you. This episode here, it's all about expansion in building generational wealth that could be put into your family, in your kids and your kids of kids of kids of kids. Okay, and so to do that, you have to leverage at the very beginning. And so if you spend your time building that intellectual currency, and the more intellectual, so intellectual currency is what you know, and the more intellectual currency you have, the more actual currency you the less actual currency you'll need. And so invest in yourself to learn how to do this the right way, so now you can leverage other people's money, other people's credit, and other people's time in order to build your empire.
Yeah, that makes sense. And here, Shijo is asking, "Hey Alfonso, can you please help us know how to find deals in multifamily?
Yes, so
What
many
are some
ways
of the
of
ways
doing.
that you look like? How do you find your multifamily deals?"
Well, one thing that I will share with people is get known. Become the person that is always looking for multifamilies. Make connections with every single realtor. You know, figure out how to have a lot of people with portfolios in your in your management system. So when these deals come up, you're the first person that's going to get the call. And so
Yep.
that's a lot of the things that we teach our students. It's like how to become the attractors, right? How to make it so the multifamily deals are coming to us. Now, for the past 2 years, I would say, then the inventory has been light. But now, with interest rates going up, there's more inventory on the market, and now it makes it for a unique situation for us as investors to go in there and actually buy multifamily deals.
But the common question I received for when I had the same suggestion, the follow-up question was, oh, the interest rates are going up, and everyone's saying that it's going to go up more. That means they're going to price drop even more. Is it still a good time to buy now?
It's always a good time because you don't never know what the bottom is. Like, if you are buying real estate with the idea that the price is going to go up and that's the only way you're going to make money, you're a speculator. You are not an investor. So we are buying good assets to hold on to forever. And so whether the market does this, if it does this eventually, but it's still going to go up, you know. So as long as the deal makes sense and we're using good, strong real estate fundamentals to buy the deals, then you buy it the right way. Then if it drops, it doesn't really matter. You're not selling. In real estate, you can't lose if you don't sell.
Yeah.
It's only when you're forced to or you have to sell and you become a motivated seller, this is when you end up in a situation where, you know what, you might have to lose.
Yeah. Love that. If you want to attract deals, if you want to get good multifamily deals, you got to become known person. I cannot agree more with you, like, because it's crazy. Like, the more deals, the more content I used to put out, the more people came to in my database, in my network through social media,
Yes.
the more
Yes.
deals I came across. We just
Yes.
got a 27 unit building off of like one of my past client. He found a deal,
Yes.
and he said, like, Aditya, do you want to partner up with me on this deal? Because you have connections, we can raise money together.
Yes.
That's so powerful, suggestion. Thank you. No, I'm learning here. Like, I'm a lifetime learner, so I'm hearing.
I'm a professional student.
There you go. Yeah. So, and one more question here. Like, you said you would buy no matter what the market timing we are in, you would buy with some good fundamentals, right? So, what are the good real estate fundamentals in your opinion?
Number one, be conservative with your numbers.
Okay.
Don't don't hope and wish for things to go your way. You have to know, right? I tell people, you're smoking the hopium. You're wishing that you can reduce the expenses. You're wishing and hoping that you can increase the income, but do you know? Is that a fact? And so what I do is I think about the worst case scenario, and if I'm okay with that, I move forward. The formula, the cash flow formula, the numbers tell the whole story. It has to be cash flow positive, but not just with the pro forma that the agent or the seller gives you. You have to do your own numbers and put in your vacancies, put in your repairs and maintenance, put in your capital expenditures, put in your property management. All of this has to be in your formula. And these are things that are often left out. And so what happens is people get into investments and they don't realize that they're not the best investments, and they end up having to dump the property on the market, and they end up saying, well, real estate doesn't work. It works if you do it the right way.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, I see that all the time. Like, because a lot of realtors are not really investors. They just put the numbers that only that just basic information. A lot of the
Yes.
times, only some real estate investors, investor focused realtors are like good with the numbers.
Sure.
But
But it's also the responsibility of the buyer to verify those numbers. It's not the responsibility of the agent or the seller, because people make mistakes
yeah,
and you already bought it.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. And
So
one small expense that you missed out to put it in there, that could cost you 100,000 or 50,000 on a
yes,
multifamily
sir.
bigger
Yes,
property.
sir.
Love that. And what else fundamentals that you follow? One is conservative approach.
Buying a solid property. people often shop for real estate because they'd go for the cheapest price. The property may be falling apart. It's gonna cost you a fortune in repairs, capital expenditures, roof, windows, foundations, all of these things that people look at the price and they're like, oh, I can fix things, not knowing exactly what it's really going to take to bring that property up to a standard, right? And so you don't want to get into a situation where you didn't read the income correctly, the property's falling apart, because you will lose. And when we talk about slumlords, I don't think someone says, well, I want to be a slumlord. I think slumlords happen because people misjudge the numbers. They do the numbers incorrectly. There's no money to repair the property, and so the property just continues to, go lower and lower, and becomes a rundown property. And people say, "Well, this is a slumlord." Well, it's a slumlord because there's no money there to fix anything because they didn't buy it the right way from the beginning.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm laughing because I made a wrong move in my career 2 years ago. I bought a building. It was completely in a terrible shape, but I was with this mindset. I'm gonna make this like a beautiful property. I want to turn it into up like, but it was like it needed quite a bit of money, and it was like completely not livable. And only 1 year, 1 or 1.5 year into the business, I'm like, I, I made that move, and 2 years after, like I raised money for that, like three to 400,000, and we literally got out. Only we took our money, but 2 years of opportunity is lost because I didn't buy the solid property. So good advice. And what else? What else are some of your fundamentals?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, making sure you have proper reserves.
Results, yeah.
Big mistake that a lot of investors make is that they don't have enough reserves there if something goes wrong. The what ifs of life, right? Like the what if the roof goes? What if, do you have a reserve? And for me, every one of my properties has a reserve. I don't want to ever have to, have this boiler go, that boiler go, that boiler go, and you don't have the money to fix these things, and it gets worse.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. And also, like times like this, the interest rate go up. If you don't have the enough resource, you have to dump the property.
Yes, yes.
How about the location?
Location is extremely important. Uh, I'm more can focus on the market, in the market that I'm buying. Um, I don't go into one horse towns. I go into markets that have either the future. It could be a secondary or tertiary market, but I'm going to do my research before I enter that market.
Got it. Yeah. So, Slam asking question here. Can $1.5 million buy me an apartment building in Windsor? Oh, that's question for me. Apartment building in Windsor. Unless if you invested in Windsor, do you have any investments
Well,
in Windsor?
I did before,
Okay.
but Windsor has taken off. I mean, Windsor is one of those markets that has really taken off, and I could have told you that because it's it's pretty much the warmest area in Canada. People think it's Vancouver,
Yeah.
but if you see the most northern part of Canada is actually in the most northern part of California, and so you're pretty much you're pretty much living in California.
Kind of. Yeah. You know what? I talk about this on my videos a lot. Like about weather is one of the main reason, one of the solid reason for businesses to grow here. Like it was one of the best city before because of
Yes,
the automotive industry burst,
yes,
housing market burst in 2008, kind of put the Windsor back on the map. But now with this electric vehicles coming in, more jobs moving in, and the house different things are happening. Like a lot of jobs are being created before Windsor has a highest unemployment rate in the city, like highest unemployment rate. But now
yeah.
the unemployment rate in Windsor is like lower than the average Canada. So which is a
Yeah,
good news.
I think it's set up. You set up in a good market.
Yeah, I got lucky. It's a destiny sometimes. Sometimes I didn't plan for it.
Yeah.
I'm just here when my calling came in. So,
Yes.
but to answer Slam's question, yeah, you can definitely buy a apartment building for 1.5 million dollars. $1.5 million can get you probably somewhere from 7 to 10 unit building.
Does he have cash $1.5 million? Because
Oh,
a
that
one point
good
five million
question.
dollars can get you a $10 million property.
Oh yeah. That's so Slam, you gotta answer that question. So is $1.5 is the cash that you are sitting in or the mortgage?
These guys. I'm about to get hit this event here. I'm gonna, guys, guys.
Yeah, let's say
I'm
hi
on a
to the whole
podcast.
gang.
Actually, I'm gonna go up there and introduce you.
Yeah, sure. I love to see, other investors.
Yeah. Yes. 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 I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come introduce you to everyone here. Just so this will be a very interactive podcast, the most interactive
Yeah,
podcast
most
you've ever
interactive.
had in the history of your podcast. You got a live audience here.
Love that, love
Hey,
that.
guys, I'm on the podcast. Make some noise.
Woo! Hello
I'm on the
everyone.
pod. Everyone, say hi, say hi.
So hope you
We're
guys
on a,
having a
we're,
good
look at
time.
all these investors. Make some noise.
Woo!
Yeah, I
Love it,
wanted
love
to.
it.
This is the tiger. Oh,
Nice.
Hey.
Hey, how are you guys?
So we're in this. I'm coming back. I'm coming back, guys. I'm coming back. Yes, yes, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. But yeah, I wanted to introduce my friends to you.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. So I know you're busy with your event. How about this? What's the best way people can reach out to you? Where can they
This
find you and about your event? Because I know a lot of GTA people, they want to learn about real estate and you're hosting in GTA. So,
Yes. So listen, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Get known. And so I make it my job to be everywhere. So if you want to look for me, you can find me on TikTok, you can find me on Snapchat,
there you
you can
go.
find me on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, you can find me online, you can Google me. I'm everywhere. And if you can't find me, shame on me. But the best place, I would say, my YouTube channel. There's a lot of content there,
Yeah.
and I love to share and connect with people. And if anything I say resonates with anyone that is watching this right now, reach out.
Yeah, and the link is in the description, guys. I already put it in there, so you don't have to look anywhere. You just click the link; it will directly take to, the Godfather's real estate channel, and a lot of great content. I watched, bunch of videos before we jumped on the interview, because I wanted to know more about you, like how you operate your business. But love it. So I know you have to go. Before I let you go, just one last question. Sukhjit is asking because he's from Brampton, which is your area. How much lower are the real estate prices going to go down in Brampton? Are they going to go up at all?
Yes. So, there's two things that are happening. One, we're fighting inflation, okay? But no matter how high the interest rates go, it doesn't. We can't forget the fact that there's still a housing crisis. Like, that's still a thing. So what I think will happen is we're gonna hit. We're going into, well, there's a window of opportunity right now where people are scared, but after that we're gonna go into more of a stable market. The economy will be in a recession, and as a result of a recession, let's say at some point next year, I could see the government actually bringing interest rates back down to balance things out. So, that's just my opinion. No crystal ball.
Yeah, again, hey, we are not here any financial advisors or anything. We are just
Yeah,
YouTubers doing some
yeah,
opinion sharing. That's all. Obviously,
that's
it's
it.
statement there. But yeah, thank you so much, Alfonso. Love to talk more. I know you're busy
Let's do
now,
it.
but
Let's do it
definitely,
again. Let's do it
yeah, let's
again.
do it again for sure. Maybe I'll come down to Toronto, visit some of your multifamilies. We'll
Let,
do a tour and talk more.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, for everyone watching, Alfonso loves you, and we're going to see you guys at the top.
See, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
take care,
everyone,
my
for
friend.
joining the call. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified the next time we're doing a video. And guess what? Like, share, dislike, I don't care!